Uh-oh, looks like the adventure is not over yet, because we still got one last thing to do before we save Donkey Kong for reals. Hey, what is up everyone? I'm Piglet here once again, and I'm back for some more of yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest for the Super Nintendo / Super Famicom for those who lived in Japan, and for the Game Boy Advance. So last time we have managed to explore around on K-Roll's Keep, despite with all these, some trial and error annoyances are present here, but either way though, we actually got that particular part quite fine. So today, for this episode, is the fact that we're going to be hit on to the next world in this game. Well, I should probably say originally the final main world in the game, which appears to be the flying Krock, and well, we'll discuss more about it whenever we get on to the ending portion of this particular point. So either way, this world right here, the Flying Krock, only has one actual main platforming level, and especially noticeable, we might able to approach onto the final boss during the informs of that time. So either way though, here we go with Scorch's Sprint. So basically, once again, we're traversing through a Bramble-themed level again. Then, as far as I can usually think about it, this is not the final time we're going to be seeing a Bramble-themed world until likely in the finale portion of it. But either way, though, all you need to do is just, go for the actual thing as usual until when it gets to the point until at the midway point. And the reason why we're going to be keeping both Diddy and Dixie with me, that's only because, let me just pause it right here for a moment, that you notice is the fact that this level only has one bonus area. So either way though, and to get to that, we need to just do a partner tossing thing, and then you notice there's actually a cannonball right there. Carry that, and then just trying to carry it all the way to the cannon, and that way, that leads us to the only bonus area on this stage. So either way though, as far as the hero coin is concerned, well, we'll discuss more about it whenever we get onto the later portions of this stage. And basically in this bonus stage right there, we have to do all kinds of abilities, such as, of course, the actual Dixie Kong's ponytail helicopter ability. And then as a result, if you see some segments like this, we need to constantly switch between Diddy and Dixie Kong on that specific bonus area. So keep that in mind, because Diddy Kong does manage to able to offer himself the greatest roll attack, and then just simply roll jump at the same time. So yeah, you get the idea. So yeah, the main emphasis on this level, as you can see, that whenever we get onto the midway point right here, you do realize just the fact that we actually have to take control of the Skorks at all times. And because of that, we're actually having a one-on-one race in between Skorks, and eventually we have to come across into the forms of his rival, which appears to be this black version of the Skork, which I don't really know what his name is, even though I pointed out whenever I failed that part. But right from the start though, we actually just managed to get ourselves our DK coin right here, or in this case a hero coin, and looks like that unfortunately I've seemed to fail that shortcut right there, just because I was able to try to time it well enough on the sake of that point, but sadly I didn't able to actually just to do it right. So oh well, that's kind of redundant, but either way though, it is there for the sake of if you really want to actually access to a shortcut, then more power to you. But either way though, let's try this again. So either way though, thankfully there's going to be a lot of emphasis on the forms of those barrels, as you can see, that we did manage to able to went onto. That's only because usually, relatively speaking, is the fact that, well, basically we're just going to have to just trying to able to actually just trying to, just try to be more fast and stuff like that. So, oh yeah, by the way, the actual, the Blackbird's name, by the way, is actually known as Scratch, which either way though, that appears to be Skork's rival. So, the actual name of the actual thing itself, as you guys can clearly tell with the fact that we need to race against with him, is that you do need to win the race, because if you somehow manage to win the race, then you weren't able to end off the level. If you lose, however though, you need to restart the entire race all over again. So this one makes the actual level gets pretty tricky, unless if you take the invincibility frames like I just did right there. then you should able to win the race no problem. So either way though, as long as you're able to get yourselves 2 hit points, then you should able to be good to go for this point. So anyways, let's go ahead and spend only 1 banana coin on the save game. Okay, that's a little bit interesting. And we got 82%, so naturally speaking, we're almost nearly at the end of the game, folks. We're pretty much almost at the end. So we are getting there, folks. We are getting there. So anyways, let's head on to the K-Roll door. In this case, the final boss in the game, which we're about to be facing against with, of course, none other than Captain K-Roll, that for some reason he just keeps on firing at Donkey Kong. And as you can see in the background right there, you can able to see as a cool reference right here, that it shows us the Super Nintendo controller in the background, which, depending on what version you're going to be playing through, oh, that was really bad for that timing jump right there. So, anywho though, yeah, depending on what version you're going to be playing through, either the American version or the European / the Japanese version, usually you know with those buttons in the background, these colors right there, these random, or in this case the blue, yellow, green and red buttons, as you can see in the background on the Super Nintendo controller, that actually represents the actual button colors if you ever played the PAL version of the game, as well as the forms of the Japanese version. In the American version, on the other hand though, you get yourselves a different colors, so I just want to classify that, and I'm sure most people already know about this at this point. So, plus this music is like really awesome right here, and especially noticeable how the fact that, well, I'll explain more about the actual final thoughts of it until whenever we get onto the towards at the very end of the actual main aspect of this Let's Play. So the entire battle can be summed up as like this, as you can see, is the fact that sometimes when you have to like dodge Captain K-Roll's attacks, especially noticeable with this particular attack formation right here, the ultimate objective on this is the fact that we need to able to give out the normal cannonball right back into its, you know, this little cannon gun right here, and then after we've done so already, hold on just a moment guys. Okay, quick air right there, because I'm gonna have to be able to fetch some drink, because, man, the weather itself is like really hot right now. But either way though, I'm just trying to imagine about that. So anyways though, yeah, as I mentioned this before, we need to able to toss the actual normal cannonball right back into Captain K-Roll's gun thing right here. And that way you can able to actually deal the damage on him. Although, before you ever think about it, there's actually a timing requirement. If you're trying to able to do such as this, as I was doing, be sure to jump at the right time, because if you don't jump over to that cannonball, you're seriously gonna able to actually make it a little bit more difficult for yourself. Especially noticeable how if you somehow manage to able to become either Diddy Kong or Dixie Kong, or just singular, then you're going to die. So either way though, that was a really bad jump right there. But regardless of everything else though, this is where the actual face starts to get a little bit tricky. That's only because he's now becoming invincible for a few moments notice, and I think he's only got about 2 more hits to go. So either way though, we can expect this much. So hopefully we need to do that. In fact, this is actually an easy way to do this, by the way, so that way you don't get affected by those weird smoke. But then again, we haven't exactly got onto that point yet. So also the final phase. The final phase is actually the hardest phase of the bunch. That's only because in addition to trying to dodge those wiggly formations of those little clouds of smoke right there, and also, if you couldn't tell, that I think Captain K-Roll will eventually try to able to actually teleport to different parts of the arena. So, yeah, that is definitely more likely the toughest part about the fight to me. Especially, it always catches me off guard, even for this part right here. But thankfully, we're on to the final phase right here, so let's go ahead and finish him off. And prepare to jump at the right moment, because if you don't, you have to do the entire fight all over again. And there we go, folks. The final Krem coin is rewarded, and looks like Donkey Kong is now free, and pow! Look at him go. And that way, it deals the job done for Captain K-Roll himself. Oh, ouch. Talk about the darker tone of the actual thing right here. Anyway, so once you deal with Captain K-Roll, Cranky Kong were able to tell us about the fact that how impressive that Diddy and Dixie Kong managed to win through. And to top it all off is the fact that I'm pretty sure you were able to mention about the forms of, with the actual DK video game hero coins, as far as that he was trying to point things out, as well as from that, and since we actually got ourselves all 75 of those Krem coins, this meaning about the fact that, as he said, there's going to be another world called Lost World, not to be confused as the forms of Lost World from Sonic Adventure, as well as Sonic Lost World as the actual main title of that game on the Wii U and 3DS, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. But either way, we'll discuss more about this until whenever we get on to Wednesday. So either way, and after when that explanation has been done, then obviously he'll tell us the actual rewards or the ranking of Cranky's video game heroes. And as you can see, Mario and Yoshi was actually an appearance, which either way though, it seems pretty cool to look at. And since we came in second place, but this meaning about the fact that there's going to be some more hero coins to be collected around here, specifically as what Cranky has mentioned, there's going to be some more in the forms of Lost World. So this means we'll get into that until whenever we get onto on Wednesday, as I said before, which might actually be the finale portion of this Let's Play. I really don't know, if depending on how long it would take. And also, as you can see in this entire background right there, you notice there's actually those familiar red shoes underneath right here, which appears to be Sonic's shoes. Which is kind of weird though, but hey, at least it's pretty cool to see. That's only because of how the fact that despite, I don't know if usually, it's hard to explain about it sometimes, I have to say for this point right here, just because, then again, we actually did manage to kick Captain K. Rool's butt, if we think about it anyway, but either way though, we'll discuss more about it until whenever we, get on to the finale video of this Let's Play until, during indie forms of on Wednesday for sure. So either way though, much like the forms of the first game, basically it'll just gives us the enemy roll call, as you can see right there, including the character roll calls during that specific point. And after when that's been done, then obviously it'll take us to staff credits. If you think this is the end of the game, well, turns out it wasn't, as I said before. And that's the perfect example of why that I did say about the fact that this Let's Play is not exactly over yet, because there's still more things to come across into. Specifically, that we have not becoming the #1 video game hero for Diddy Kong either way, but usually, relatively speaking, is that Mario was the only one that he was the part of the video game hero after all, because, he's the most definitive video game character after all since 1985, so, it's always super important to him. In fact, speaking of which actually, is the fact that the original Super Mario Bros. Game for the Famicom/NES, that game will become 35 years old until next month. So even then, I can't wait to see how that's going to turn out, especially noticeable how the fact that how still successful that game can be. So yeah, that's all I can really just try to think about it for the time. And also, if you do notice right from the start though, is the fact that on the Game Boy Advance version of Donkey Kong Country 2, that rather than just having Yoshi as in third place position when it comes to the forms of Cranky's video game heroes rewards kind of stuff, instead Yoshi's been replaced by Link from The Legend of Zelda, which is pretty cool actually. Usually because of how the fact that since I'm a really good fan, or in this case a really hardcore fan of The Legend of Zelda stuff, But even then though, despite we have not done the forms of most of the Zelda games in our Let's Play channel so far, because the only ones we've only done is of course the one that started it all, which is of course the original Legend of Zelda game on the NES. Although we were originally trying to do A Link to the Past, but in fact, we might do that at the end of the year, if we could able to try that Let's Play again, and then hopefully we shouldn't able to come across into a lot of issues again, because my god, in the forms of 2019, we were going to be able to do that particular Let's Play last year, but unfortunately my capture card just goes all pretty glitchy all of a sudden, and as a result, yeah, it just really messes everything up in journey forms of that particular original plan. But hopefully by the time in 2020, we'll definitely gonna have to try that again, and hopefully we will able to actually make it a little bit more better than the forms of how it does it in the, at least ever since in 2018, which was originally planned, and then 2019 we were going to be planning that as well, but unfortunately capture card, for our capture card's sake, it just always becomes incredibly well, sprite-heavy glitched fest, which either way though, that makes it a little bit more, well, pretty obvious for that point. So either way, and let's show us the forms of those bad guys, in this case the boss fights department, so either way though we can expect this much. And also some animal buddies, which I think there are about 5 of them in this game. Well, I think there are about, I don't know, I think I've actually lost count on that specific stuff, so either way though, usually relatively speaking, these two we all know. And Rattly, this rattlesnake is shown up, and you know, you get the idea for that point. I think there are about like, actually I think I've lost count now because it's been such a long while, so either way though, that's all I can really say about this yet. Yeah, it's actually 5 animal buddies in this game, plus 2 environmental helpers. They're trying to help you out, specifically Clapper and Glimmer the fish. So yeah, that's as far as I can usually just trying to think about for ourselves at that point. So now onto the Kong clan, which is basically a part of the Kong family, of course. Oh yeah, talking of which actually, is the fact that in the Game Boy Advance version of Donkey Kong Country 2, that they did manage to include Candy Kong as the part of the background in journey forms have been, I would say, by the end of the actual normal run, and especially noticeable in, I would classify for saying, in Swanky Kong's quiz kind of ways. So I just want to classify that, so either way though, that's all I can really delve for anyway. So either way though, there's Donkey Kong right here, despite he's still got tied up. And there's Dixie Kong, which whenever we get onto Donkey Kong Country 3, that she'll be the most important character of them all. And especially noticeable, the young hero himself, Diddy Kong himself. Even though it takes place in the forms of the actual, well, we'll talk more about it whenever we get onto the finale portion of this Let's Play, as I said before. Now, in the Game Boy Advance version, rather than taking place on the exact same environment as the Super Nintendo counterparts, instead it's been like taking place in a castle rooftops, by the way, because they need to include the Game Boy Advance exclusive boss in journey forms of this particular game. So I just want to classify that. So either way though, again, as I said before, it's not the end of the Let's Play of this just yet though, just because we still got a whole ways to go, especially noticeable now we need to mainly focusing on the true final world in the game, which appears to be Lost World. Now, you know what the actual Creme coins that we have actually got, all 75 of them? Well, I think we need to revisiting back to the previous 5 worlds, specifically, what I was going to say for these worlds. Oh yeah, we need to revisit it back to Crocodile Cauldron, Creme Quay, Crazy Kremland, Gloomy, Glutch, and finally K-Roll's Keep. And as a result, that way we can able to actually access to one of the levels in the Lost World itself. Which, either way though, that could be also same applies to the Game Boy Advance version as well. So, yeah, that's the actual main suggest for that point. So either way though, whilst I'll get some more differences in between this version than the Game Boy Advance version whenever we get onto that specific point, because usually, relatively speaking, it actually took me about 10 plus hours on the Game Boy Advance version to able to complete the whole entire thing. So either way though, including like trying to collect all of the photographers, and especially noticeable with you know, just every single of those golden feathers that you can able to obtain through due to the forms of the actual espresso racing. So yeah, that's as far as we can able to actually just classify from mentioning about that stuff. So either way though, yeah, that's all I can really say about this here. I know it's not much I can usually discuss upon for this point, although recently, because today is actually the forms of the 17th of August today, in this case in 2020, New Super Mario Bros. 2, at least for those of you who lived in the UK, that game has been turning into 8 years old in the UK version. So, something's worth mentioning, by the way, so even I just want to classify that. So, yeah, I guess I'll end things off here, I'm afraid, guys. So, join me on Wednesday for more of Let's Play of Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. It's the fact that we're going to be taking on the true final world in the game, and that appears to be the Lost World. So, things can get a little bit more interesting to say the least, but I'm certainly going to go for it. So, see you guys on Wednesday.